A stunning new report shows that the VA is still failing America's heroes, revealing that the department failed to report 90% of potentially dangerous medical providers. So how did this happen? Why isn't this being fixed? Joining me now is Dan Caldwell with Concerned Veterans for America. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, Dan. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on this morning.
So were you surprised by this finding?
No, absolutely not. This Government Accountability Office report just verifies reporting done by USA Today that this was going on for years up until earlier this year, until the VA took action to stop it. But this is something that was happening in large part because it was difficult to fire bad VA employees, including clinicians, doctors, nurses, etc. And this was part of a deal to get them out of the VA, paying them off, and also include payoffs as well. And the result of this is it was not only causing problems at the VA, but it was threatening the civilian medical system as well, because a lot of these clinicians were leaving and then working in private sector hospitals.
So these findings were based on a sampling of 5 VA hospitals. Let's look at a segment of what they found. It says that the GAO found that from October 2013 through March 2017, the 5 selected VAMCs did not report most of the providers who should have been reported to the National Practitioner Data Bank or state licensing boards in accordance with VHA policy. So how do we fix it, Dan?
Well, I think the big thing that needs to happen is that the law that President Trump signed into law, the VA Accountability and Whistleblower Protection Act, that needs to be enforced. And President Trump's VA Secretary, Secretary Shulkin, is enforcing it. So you need to actually fire, not pay off, or allow these doctors to leave without being reported to medical boards and get them out of the medical system. And on top of that, just like President Trump campaigned on, you need to give veterans real choice so there's competition and the VA is forced not to engage in this practice so they can keep veterans in the system. And that's why you have legislation like Representative Lamborn just introduced, the Veterans Empowerment Act, which would give that choice. And again, this is something President Trump campaigned on. It was incredibly popular with veterans. He'd get cheers at every campaign stop from veterans when he talked about it. It's something that his VA secretary supports, and Congress really needs to step up here and pass legislation like the bill that Representative Lamborn just introduced.
So along with accountability, veterans need the health care choice. You're a veteran. How do you think President Trump is doing so far? I mean, this is what he was voted in to do.
I think that overall this has been a real success story for the administration. I think that the VA, despite these continued problems, is on a better path. But to be clear, as this story shows, there's still a lot of work to be done. And pass real VA reform, in particular giving veterans more choice, because that's what they want and that's what they've earned.
Working with Congress, we're hearing that a lot these days.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it, and thank you for your service.